People of the Philippines versus Enfectana. The facts of the case are as follows. On November 2, 1994, at about 11 o'clock in the morning at National Highway, Barangay Cabay, Balangkayan, Eastern Samar, Philippines, and within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, Eusebio Enfectana and Erwin Enfectana, conspiring, confederating, and helping one another with intent to kill and with evident premeditation and treachery and without justifiable cause, did then and there willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously bump Leo Bocco and the complainant Adelaida Bocco with the tricycle of the accused when the victim has just alighted from a passenger jeepney. Then attacked, assaulted, hacked, stabbed, and wounded Leo Bocco with the use of sharp-bladed weapons, which the accused provided themselves for the purpose, thereby inflicting injuries upon Leo Bocco, which injuries caused the instantaneous death of Leo Bocco and caused injuries to the complainant Adelaida Bocco when she was bumped by the tricycle named Pepit, owned and operated by herein accused and driven by co-accused Erwin Enfectana. Upon arraignment, appellants pleaded not guilty to the charge. According to the witness, Adelaida Bocco, widow of the victim Leo Bocco, she testified that on November 2, 1994, at around 11 a.m., while she and her husband were on their way home, they were sideswiped by a tricycle driven by appellant Erwin Enfectana with Efren Enfectana as passenger. As a result, her husband fell in a crouching position. When he was about to get up, appellant Eusebio Enfectana came from behind to stab him. Then, appellant Erwin Enfectana and accused Efren Enfectana took turns stabbing Leo Bocco, causing his death. According to the witness, Dominador Dialino, a 52-year-old farmer, testified that he saw appellants and co-accused kill the victim. According to the witness, he was at the store of Juan Olivo Contado at around 11 a.m. of November 2, 1994. From there, he saw Leo and Adelaida Bocco alighted from a jeepney. He also saw a fast-running tricycle which bumped the vehicle of the Bocco spouses. The tricycle was being driven by Erwin Enfectana, who was with Efren Enfectana. They missed the Bocco spouses to jump away. Erwin and Efren Enfectana alighted from the tricycle and walked toward Leo Bocco, who had fallen down. They were carrying short-bladed weapons known as lipang. Dominador Dialino tried to stop them by going between them and the Bocco spouses, to no avail. He then saw Eusebio Enfectana stab Leo Bocco. After Leo Bocco fell, Erwin and Efren also stabbed him. Appellant Eusebio Enfectana testified that on November 2, 1994, at around 11 a.m., while he was at home, someone arrived and informed him that his tricycle was involved in an accident. He went to the place and saw his tricycle turned upside down with its windshield broken. Suddenly, he saw Leo Bocco running towards him with a depang, or a small bolo. He evaded the attacks of Leo Bocco and managed to get hold of a piece of wood which he used to defend himself. Still, Leo Bocco persisted in attacking him until he was able to get hold of a bolo, which he used in stabbing Leo. According to him, he was able to stab Leo in the right hand and chest. Aside from this, he was also able to hack him in the neck. As Leo fell down from these counterattacks, according to appellant, he took Leo's bolo and used this to stab him. Eusebio decided to call the authorities to surrender himself. Appellant Erwin Enfectana testified that at around 11 a.m. of November 2, 1994, while he was waiting for passengers in Barangay Cabay, Balangkayan, he saw Leo Bocco running toward him with a small bolo. In effort to escape, he accidentally bumped his tricycle on a fence. He fell down because of the impact, but he immediately stood up and ran away because Leo Bocco was still chasing him with the bolo. In order to escape, he hid in the house of Osayas Montes, where he learned that his father, Eusebio Enfectana, and Leo Bocco had a quarrel. The trial court rendered a decision that Eusebio Enfectana and Erwin Enfectana are found guilty beyond reasonable doubt as co-principals of the crime of murder. The issue in this case is whether there is self-defense on the part of Eusebio and Fectana. The Supreme Court ruled that there is no self-defense in this case. The conviction of the Enfectanas was primarily based on the testimonial accounts of Adelaida Boco and Dominador Dialino, which was found by the trial court to be more credible than the version of the appellants. The appellants would want us to believe that it was the victim, Leo Boco, who initiated the attacks, first against Erwin Enfectana and then against Eusebio Enfectana, and that, notwithstanding the fact that said Erwin and Eusebio were both caught unaware and unarmed by the sudden attacks of Leo Boco, they managed to evade him and escape unscathed. It is an established principle that once justifying circumstance is raised, the burden of proving the elements of the claim shifts to him who invokes it. The elements of self-defense are that the victim has committed unlawful aggression amounting to actual or imminent threat to the life and limb of the person claiming self-defense, that there be reasonable necessity in the means employed to prevent or repel the unlawful aggression, and that there be lack of sufficient provocation on the part of the person claiming self-defense, or at least that any provocation executed by the person claiming self-defense be not the proximate and immediate cause of the victim's. Given the fact that the relationship between the parties had been marked by ill will and animosities, and pursuant to the rule on the burden of evidence imposed by law on the party invoking self-defense, the admission of appellant Eusebio Enfectana that he killed Leo Boco made it incumbent upon appellant to convincingly prove that there was unlawful aggression on the part of the victim, which necessitated the use of deadly force by appellant. Unfortunately, appellant miserably failed to prove the existence of unlawful aggression on the part of the victim.